Welcome back, everybody, to the Military Chessboard channel. In a burst of fury, President Vladimir Putin, deeply disappointed by the continuous failures of the military, decided to respond with a powerful and decisive airstrike on Ukraine. With a dense formation of drones and a fierce barrage of missiles, they surprisingly also targeted their own Voronezh territory, shocking the citizens. Meanwhile, Ukraine also struck Sevastopol, leaving severe consequences for the Russian Navy. Now, to better understand this information, let's start with the apparent frustration of the Russian military over their failures, leading them to immediately conduct another major airstrike on Ukraine, using numerous drones and missiles, as previously mentioned. However, simultaneously, they also targeted their own territory within the Russian Federation. With incredible calmness and accuracy, the Ukrainian air defense demonstrated impressive strength, intercepting and mercilessly destroying 10 state-of-the-art Kinzhal missiles launched from supersonic aircraft. But that's not all. The air defense forces also wiped out an additional 62 cruise missiles along with 35 drones, each a potential threat, now turned to dust in the sky. Unfortunately, some of the cruise missiles managed to reach their targets. By the way, all Kinzhals were shot down by the Patriot systems, so you can watch the video of the supersonic Kinzhal missiles being shot down in the sky right now and falling into the Dnipro River. This occurred in Kiev, the capital of Ukraine. Some suggest that the debris is merely a part of the acceleration engine of the Patriot missile, but its shape suggests otherwise. It closely resembles the Kinzhal. During this attack, numerous residential buildings were damaged, along with several cars, hair salons, and stores. This also included a Tesla dealership. Tragically, today there were civilian casualties as a result of Russia's large-scale assault. However, it's important to note that the attack 4 days ago was even worse and it was larger, and it also resulted in more casualties. According to official Russian reports about today's attack, a missile fell in the village of Voronezh, completely destroying several buildings. Now, for those unaware, Voronezh is a city in the southwestern Russia, bordering Ukraine. What does that mean? The Russian military caused an unthinkable incident, bombing their own territory, leading to severe consequences and widespread confusion among the populace, and understandably so. Previously, similar incidents had occurred in Belgorod, and now Voronezh has been affected too. Russian forums initially erupted with comments claiming that the targeted area was not in Russia, but actually Ukraine. However, the Russian Ministry of Defense later officially confirmed a system malfunction, leading to some missiles detaching and falling onto this village. According to Kiev Post, local residents lamented the destruction of an entire street with about a dozen houses damaged, and as of now, affected residents are being relocated to temporary accommodation centers, including a nearby hostel. Alright, and here we have a video of Belgorod. This part of the missile only struck the ceiling and entered the room, and as you can see, it's a children's room. Therefore, one might wonder if Ukraine is to blame for attacking civilians, but in truth, no, as this was a Russian air defense missile. Specifically, it was the tail part, the acceleration engine. After reaching sufficient altitude and speed, this part detaches and falls towards the ground. And in this specific case, it was directed towards a residential building. Fortunately, though, there were no warheads or remaining rocket fuel inside. Essentially, it was just a dummy hitting the building and the children's home. Once again, you can see it in this image. However, Russian propaganda would falsely claim that Ukraine is targeting civilian buildings with children inside. Indeed, it was a Russian air defense forces that bombed their own city of Belgorod once again. And right now, as we are making this video, Ukraine might have launched a drone attack on the city of Belgorod. Here, Russia is using some air defense systems based on these traces in the sky. Explosions in the sky have been reported and recorded by eyewitnesses, and based on the serial numbers of Russian cruise missiles, it's evident that they were recently manufactured in factories. This indicates their capability to produce these weapons, unfortunately. However, there's a silver lining here. Their inability to produce these missiles in large quantities means they cannot sustain daily intensive attacks such as these. Now, let's turn to the updates from the northern front, where Ukraine has indeed made significant progress in the village of Sinkivka. Despite Russia's numerous attempts to attack this area, all have failed, and the Kiev government has mobilized a number of its resources, successfully pushing Moscow forces out of Sinkivka to ensure the village's protection. The Ukrainian military utilized infantry forces and a range of artillery firepower to gain more ground control. This has undoubtedly been a successful counteroffensive by Ukraine at this location. How long this will be sustained remains uncertain for now, as the front lines are currently very active. Sometimes Russia gains some ground, and other times it's Ukraine. I continue to predict Russia's progress towards Sinkivka because their main goal is to regain control of the city of Kupiansk, and Sinkivka lies directly en route. However, this does not mean that all of their attacks will be successful. And importantly, today we have quite optimistic news about the progress of Ukraine. On the technological front, Russia announced the deployment of the Yastreb AV counter-artillery radar, a costly marvel valued at a staggering $250 million, a masterpiece of sophistication and, more importantly, expense. Yet, in a breathtaking and unexpected twist, less than 24 hours later, this radar's veil of strength was torn apart. The Special Naval Force Number 73, along with the 140th Reconnaissance Battalion, supported by GMLRS missiles, swiftly detected and destroyed the Yastreb AV. This resounding victory, a testament to Ukraine's intelligence and bravery, shatters all expectations and marks a new chapter in this challenging conflict. We've received some unfortunate news about two Leopard tanks. Both were targeted by Russian drones. Here you can see the drone launched and the Ukrainian Leopard tanks. The hatches are open, indicating that the soldiers have already evacuated. This wasn't the first drone attack on this type of equipment. It's a dire situation. It looks serious, but ultimately it only caused some damage to the structure of the tank, not entirely destroying it. However, as usual, the Russians reported they had destroyed a Ukrainian tank regiment. Unfortunately, that happens. While making this video, we received reports of a large explosion in Sevastopol. If we zoom into this picture, although it's not of high quality, we can still see sources of smoke cover the ground. Therefore, the explosions were not in the air, but on the ground. It seems Ukraine might have been targeting something in this port. Last year, they also attacked this military port, which after Russia immediately responded by destroying Ukrainian military infrastructure. Now, some ships might have been left in Sevastopol and become targets as Russia continues to use them to launch cruise missiles against Ukrainian territory. The Russian Navy has at least 3 ships capable of launching such cruise missiles. Hopefully, these ships were the specific targets of our military. As of this moment, it's hard to say because I've just received this information. Local discussions have confirmed reports of large explosions in Sevastopol, specifically in Balklava. This is a primary base for Russian submarines. Alright, let's return to the military map to go to Klishchiivka for the latest update from there. It appears that Russia has recently gained some ground in this area. Moscow is moving through this railway line in an effort to break through and advance towards the village of Klishchiivka. However, not long ago, Ukraine was successful in attacking Russian positions here and even moved across this lake. But now, Russia is attempting to attack Klishchiivka, and today they have captured this part of the territory. In reality, it's difficult to determine who has the upper hand, but in areas like Kromovo and Bodanivka, it's clear that Russians have gained the initiative. According to leaked posts on social media, it seems Russia is increasingly recruiting frontline soldiers in impoverished countries, individuals contracted to fight for Russia, abhorrently. But what exactly are they signing up for? Where are they fighting, and what experiences await them ahead? Alright, I want to show you some popular TikTok videos at this point. Here are Nepalese soldiers serving in the Russian army. You can see how these individuals are seemingly thrilled to have all this equipment, weapon systems, and bulletproof vests, right? French newspaper Le Monde reports that the government of Nepal has confirmed the deaths of at least 6 mercenaries fighting in Ukraine. This small Himalayan nation has requested the Russian government to return the bodies and cease using its citizens for military purposes. A new form of human trafficking may have emerged in this situation, as in Nepal, in the guise of sending soldiers to Russian-Ukrainian front. Rumors about young Nepali citizens participating in this distant war have been circulating for several months now. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal officially confirmed this information in early December last year, following the deaths of at least 6 mercenaries in Ukraine and the capture of another. The Nepalese Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated, "The government of Nepal has requested the Russian government to immediately return their bodies and compensate their families accordingly." It also called on Russia to stop using Nepali combat aircraft. This news has had a particularly negative impact since Nepal sided with Western powers after Russia's invasion of its neighboring country. They were allegedly enticed by promises of large sums of money and the possibility of obtaining Russian citizenship, entering Russia through India or Dubai on tourist or student visas. Candidates reportedly paid agents up to $8,500 to $9,000, approximately €8,370. The ambassador told a Nepalese newspaper, "We are sending back at least one Nepali citizen every day. All of them were taken to Russia to serve in the military. This is undoubtedly a filthy trafficking scheme." Nepal, a predominantly rural and impoverished nation, has a labor force eager to migrate abroad. Each year, hundreds of thousands flock to Gulf countries in search for employment. Nepal partly relies on remittances, which account for a third of its GDP. Over 3 million Nepalese citizens, which is 10% of the population, work abroad, not counting those in exile in India. This migration has led to a lucrative and unscrupulous business. Recruitment agencies are abundant within the country, offering their services and making often fraudulent remuneration offers. Now, in summary, Russia is desperately seeking human shields, flesh, and blood replacements for its own citizens, and President Putin should immediately put an end to this atrocity. Our video for today comes to an end here. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to support the channel for future. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to seeing you in our upcoming videos.